Nerd World Order broadcast. Dynaphones connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I'm the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, it's all about the...
Booyah, what's up? It's your boy Joe, baby.
And to my other right, weighing in at 178 adamantium field pounds, coming straight out of Krakow, Alfonso X-Man Flores.
To me, my X-Men. Oh, let's get it.
We are going to be going to Alfonso's favorite fandom of all time. We're going to be discussing the X-Men. What team would you want to see introduced into the MCU to introduce the X-Men to the MCU? So this is going to be an Alfonso-centric, X-Men-centric episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. We're going to be leveraging the knowledge of Alfonso to talk to all of you and us about the X-Men teams. So we all picked different X-Men that we'd want to see on a team introduced into the MCU. Alfonso, won't you go ahead and tell us what all these different classes, categories, and Dungeons and Dragons case stand for?
Oh, my stars and garters. I'd throw that one in there. So when it comes to an X-Men team, I mean, you want a really good, well-rounded team because X-Men, if it's one thing, they're all about teamwork. You know, whether from their training in the danger room, they have to have powers that complement each other that are going to, you know, they're going to be able to lean on each other and work well together. So generally, when you look at it, X-Men are usually derived of certain types of mutants. All right. So you're always going to have a psychic on the team. It's like X-Men 101. You got to have a psychic, you know, whether it be the classics or whatnot. We'll get into that a little bit. You need a tank character, somebody who's strong, who can basically go through the walls, who can do what needs to be done when it comes to, you know, hey, nobody can open the pickle jar. We got to get somebody on that, right? You've got your classic fighter or feral. Yeah, we'll just say fighter. I was going with feral at first, but you got to have somebody who's like, they can just throw hands when they throw hands, because sometimes you got to get up close and personal. And then we need a blaster. All right. A blaster, I mean, says it itself, you know, somebody who can like blast extreme amount of energy and a direction, and you can actually attack from far. You got to have one of those. And, you know, what would any X-Men team be without a kid? You know, you got to have the kid on the team, because you got to have the children to have somebody to be like, oh, I can look at it from their perspective. I can see what it's like in the adult world. And, you know, it helps everybody have a little bit more heart in the team. It helps the gruff and rugged ones be a little more like, oh, I got to take them under my wing, you know. And, you know, just by saying that, if you're familiar with the X-Men at all, you could probably name 2 or 3 of them right off the bat, generally associated with one fighter. And then amongst those, you know, those are my 5 categories, Alfonso's 5 categories of X-Men. You're going to pick a leader. There's got to be a leader on the team, and honestly can fall into one of those 5 categories. So, Dukes, you want to start off your little poll there?
Absolutely. So I'm going to introduce most fans of the Nerd World Order, ladies, gentlemen, knights, as I lovingly call y'all, to these characters. It's not one psychic, it's not 2 psychics, it's 3 psychics that work together to be the Stepford Cuckoos. So I feel like the triad of Stepford Cuckoos are very interesting. One day I was reading an X-Men comic and I was like, who are these women? And then later on, one of them got knocked out, and, you know, they start communicating and everything. They're a great concept, and I'm surprised it wasn't done sooner as far as 3 characters working together. So, Alfonso, why don't you enlighten the fans far more than I ever could?
Well, when it comes to Stepford Cuckoos, originally there were 5. Yeah, there were 5. One got dead, and then another one got dead, and then there were 3. So they're a hive mind. They all kind of share the same, not really the same mind, but they can all work together later on as things were going on. And of course, there's these, in the opinion of all the other teenage kids, there these hot women that are like, oh man, but they're you can't really get into the group because it's like TLC, I was like, if you or Spice Girls, if you want to be my lover. Anyways,
Yeah, that's Spice Girls.
So the thing about them is, it's like as you're going on later on, you find out they're actually clones of Emma Frost, which was a really good twist. Made sense because she took them under her wings at first, and they're all snobby and not quite British, but they were snobby, and they had that we'll say high end, highbrow Boston type look about them, all hoity toity. So Emma Frost, saw a kindred spirit of them, took them in, and mentored them, and which they needed it, right? But with their powers combined, they formed a mighty robot. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, and it's cool because after a while, some of them wanted to develop their own personalities because they always dressed alike, they looked alike, same hair, everything. And then one's like, well, I want to be my own, and like she started dyeing her hair black, and she was the one who ended up getting killed. But yeah, Stepford Cuckoos, it's definitely a power trio, and I accept your answer as those being the one psychic because they don't separate. They're there together, and you get kudos for that one, sir.
Awesome. So I just want to point out to any of my British or Bostonian listeners of the Nerd World Order, that's Alfonso. If you want to cancel him, feel free. I don't think y'all are snobby at all. I don't even know what hoity-toity means, but I'm sure that y'all are not whatever Alfonso described you as.
You've seen Bridgerton. It's like that.
I haven't seen Bridgerton, actually.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah. You have seen Bridgerton, Alfonso?
I've walked in on my wife watching Bridgerton.
Come on, Alfonso.
And before I'm totally discredited, I've seen Dukes dressed up as a Bridgerton.
I have dressed up as a Bridgertonian, and as much as Alfonso can use I happen to walk in and while my wife was watching, I will use the same excuse. I went to the Bridgerton tea party because it was an awesome experience for the wife. I enjoyed it too. However, I have not seen the show.
Dude, you look sharp.
I was going for it. I actually saw someone wearing that same exact Bridgerton costume that I had at the X-Men ball, but they were dressed as Nightcrawler.
You know what? I thought I recognized that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's total Hellfire Gala stuff right there, man.
Yeah, definitely. Bringing it back around to X-Men, full circle. So speaking of bringing it back around to the X-Men, I'm going to throw this back to you, Alfonso X-Man Flores. Who is your psychic you have on that team?
Let's see. It's coming to me. My psychic is going to be the original Cuckoo, Emma Frost. Okay. Emma Frost, psychic, but she also doubles down as a tank because she can turn her diamond form and she's nigh invulnerable and super strong. The thing about it is, though, now that she's got her secondary mutation where she turns a diamond, when she uses her diamond form, she cannot use her psychic abilities. So when she uses her psychic abilities, she can't be in diamond form. So it's kind of I don't know. Is that a juxtaposition? It's a good word and it has an X in it. So I'm just going to use that. But Emma Frost, super smart. She's always planning. She's always, she's manipulating. She is awesome. And for my little story here, she is not going to be with Iron Man. And maybe at one time she was with Cyclops, but not anymore because Jean Grey came back to life again or something. But that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
So is she actually wearing clothes and not just lingerie?
Well, team? Let's see. Emma Frost sometimes wears clothes,
Oh,
she's a little more clothes.
Is that a bare midriff there?
This is a bare midriff, just like Gambit showed us in X-Men 97, right? But she's wearing pants, right? This is my lead figurine that, I collected a little while ago. And so I guess lead figurines, they're great. You could actually only get them in UK. I had to have them imported. And so since they're lead, you really can't lick them.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I'd like to let everybody know I'm not lead. So one additional question, Alfonso.
Yes, sir.
Are the Stepford Cuckoos able to use their psychic ability when they go into their diamond form?
They have no diamond form as of yet. Now they are they're clones, and I think they're a little watered down because, like when you make a copy of a copy, it's never quite the same. But they're also young, and Emma Frost was old enough to where she had her secondary mutation, and it happened in a time of trauma when she was like an X-Men 97, trapped under a million dead bodies in Genosha, and had to claw her way out and be alive.
Did
So
she have to chew through those dead bodies? Like just
it's quite possible. They never really went quite into that, but I'm sure it's like you've got so many hands, so you got that mouth, just chew through them.
Yeah, that's
Diamond
right.
Heart teeth. She
That's
got a
right.
grill.
Well,
maybe
Joe,
that's why she likes Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not made out of lead either. Joe, who you got as a psychic?
Well, I had a couple, and it was depending on what Alf decided, because I do like Emma Frost as well. But I like Psylocke because even though she was from the UK, she is Asian. Through dope writing. But yeah, I just like the way I like her look. I like the way I like her power set. I've always been a huge fan of Psylocke. So that's my pick.
I could have gone with Psylocke as well, but I was like, Joe's got Psylocke. Who am I to disrespect Joe's Psylocke pick? So I knew you, dude.
It was pretty close. It was either
Yeah.
Psylocke and Emma Frost.
Yeah.
I actually had Emma Frost down. That's why I'm glad you went with Al first, because because lately in the comics, I feel Emma Frost has been pushed more out there, and I with her whole storyline with her getting married to Iron Man and stuff like that, and so like I'm a fan of hers more so now. I feel like they're doing more with her than they are with Psylocke.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
So those. Go ahead, Alfonso.
Oh, I'm sorry. Psylocke was on my list originally because as I'm thinking about it, ninja badass Psylocke, that's what I want. But I have a daughter named Emma Frost. I already made my X-Men team before we did this, and one is Emma. Hint of things to come.
Oh, okay. I think we have a theme here. I can now call out all of Alfonso's picks. Let's move on to the next category, which is tanks. So the tanks, for those, it was an interesting toss-up for me because there's so many ways to go. I could go through my potential picks, but then I'm kind of stepping on all of your toes. So I will say this, Sugar. I feel like Rogue has a question for you, Alfonso. My choice is Rogue. Is her absorption of Captain Marvel's power, is that a secondary mutation or is it a side effect?
No, it's just a side effect. She absorbed Captain Marvel and she got her strength and her ability to fly. And just because she held on too long, it's like, and honestly, she wouldn't be able to hold on so long except, Captain Marvel's super durable. So she was able to live long enough for Rogue to take it all and keep it on her own. Right. So like a normal human or a normal mutant should have probably taken the power and it would dissipate it after a while. But because Captain Marvel was so strong cosmically, she was able to hang on to that. Kind of bummed she didn't get any kind of blaster out of that, but I'm happy with the super strength and invulnerability. Much better than played by Anna Paquin, in the X-Men movies. Rogue is definitely a tank. She is a powerhouse, on par with Colossus. Any strong person out there. I mean, I don't know, as we saw in X-Men 97, she took down a Hulk Buster base, which is, it was made to keep Hulk in, but not necessarily out. But, I digress.
So, first of all, insulting Anna Paquin will get us nowhere in this podcast. Sookie Stackhouse, which is an alternate universe Rogue. Dude, don't even try to disrespect Miss Anna Paquin. She brings the talent in every movie she's in. Anna Paquin all day.
Yeah, True Blood was good.
Yeah, it was. I love me some Anna Paquin. So now that I've digressed and given all of you way too much information, I'm going to turn it over to Alfonso to take this off the rails. Who is your tank?
I'm going to say check and mate, sir. Rogue, Sugar. Yeah, Rogue is just, she's one of those people that you got to have on a team. Colossus was really up there for my tank. But the truth of the matter is, Rogue just has so much more to offer with her flight. You know, I mean, if I had Colossus, I've got nobody who could fly. She's also has her absorption powers where she could, you know, if there wasn't a psychic around, she could take the memories, but more importantly, she could take other people's mutant abilities. So, like, imagine if Mystique was around, she could take Mystique's power to change ability or you know, appearance, and then she could also take somebody else's power and have that power along with, you know, the image. So Rogue, you know, in the X-Men movies hasn't been utilized properly. She hasn't been you know, she doesn't have that whole Captain Marvel aspect to her. So I mean, when they make these movies, I want an end of one of the movies, one of the end credits, for her to just come up behind and touch Carol Danvers and take her stuff away, and then we can be done with that woman, because nobody but Joe likes her. Actually, I like her too, but you know, a general consensus of the world, they're not really happy with her. So Rogue can take the power because she can use it better, and then the X-Men have another tank.
Yeah, I like her too. I feel like, regardless of what the um, let's say incel
Consensus.
public has to say,
Yeah.
sexist
Yeah.
incels, yeah, whatever they have
Mhm.
to say. Brie Larson does a great job. It's a good character. She's well played. So you know what? You guys keep whining. As long as Joe
Mhm.
likes her, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Joe, who you got as a tank?
You know, like I really like Rogue Knot. I'm not gonna do that. That really should be your flyer, but whatever. I digress on that. I went and picked Juggernaut. I
Okay.
think Juggernaut's dope because it's an actual tank that stays on the ground and destroys stuff instead of flying around.
A
In my
non-mutant.
opinion, yeah. So I mean, I think that's the. I've always kind of liked him because I can see his frustration to the almighty freaking Professor X, who actually ends up being very bad later in the comics, anyways. You know what I mean? Oh, too
Mhm.
goody shoe dude. You know, now he's not anymore. But yes, you saw I'm a fan of Juggernaut. And plus, I like what they did with them in Deadpool.
Yeah, that was a very cool
Yeah,
Juggernaut in Deadpool.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Juggernaut's a really good choice. I'm
mhm,
sorry, Diggs. Um,
no,
you know, he is a non-mutant, which I don't hold against him. He is part of the
Mhm,
X-Men universe. You know, there's a few out there like Mimic, but Juggernaut, he's just, I mean, nothing stops the Juggernaut. You know what I mean?
mhm,
He once he gets going, he is unstoppable. Kane Marco, he grew up. Well, when he grew up, his father actually married Professor Xavier's mother, and they were stepbrothers. And you know, of course, there was all this competition going on. They went to Korea to fight the war together, and you know, Kane Marco took off because he was scared, and he ran off and he fell in a hole and he found the Crimson Gem with Sidorak, and then all of a sudden he's unstoppable. And you know, it's like, well, hey, Prof, I get back to the mansion and somebody's been sleeping in my room, and he's like, get out. But yeah, that's how that went.
gotcha. I think that's a great choice, Joe, because Juggernaut is a literal tank. You know, he's like
mhm.
perfect. So, a question for you: did either of you consider Colossus, but assume that one of the other of us would use Colossus?
Now, Colossus was kind of the first thought for tank. But truth of the matter is, I mean, that's the thing. He's on the ground. It's like, yeah, you know, you got a tank, but I can just fly up here and you can't do nothing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Rogue is so much more versatile. Rogue can and has done the fastball special with the little Canadian. So yeah, I'm okay with Rogue. But I mean, Colossus, um, there's a lot more to him. You know, he later on he got the power of the Juggernaut, so that could have been a good way to go with Colossus, as you know, with the Crimson Gem of Sidorak. Um, he's been to hell and back, literally. You know, going to save his sister. There was a timeline where he came back and he was all old and you know grizzled, but Colossus is your little powerhouse. Basically, the one thing that they got, they can almost go toe to toe with the Juggernaut. They can slow him down long enough so that Nightcrawler can port in and take his helmet, poured out, and then you know Profex can shut him down. So
Good to know. That's all some good information there. So, um, this next category was probably my toughest. The reason being is because like fighter is kind of like okay, so Wolverine. Okay, well, yeah. Then let's see here. Other people who were part of the same project as Wolverine. Okay, got that. Then there's people who were part of the American version of Wolverine or the Weapon Project or some other country's version of the Weapon Project. Okay. So if we take all those aside, who do we have left? Nobody. So I want to go with X-23.
Ooh.
I feel like the reason I chose her is because Wolverine is the expected, right? You're introducing, but I feel like by putting a spin on it, number one, you're going to piss off the incels and sexists, which is always good in my book. But also, I feel like because she's, I'll say, younger, that gives her character more longevity and more story to build over a trilogy. So that's why I went with Laura there, also known as X and 23.
That's a very good choice, man. Laura, yeah, X-23 is, I mean, she was basically bred to take down Wolverine. You know, she was brainwashed in the like his with his scent to just take him down. Anytime she smells it, she goes, like, no matter how calm she can be, if she smells him, at first she was going into berserker rage and going after him, you know. um it's funny the way they explained her, because, like, what do you need? You need an XY chromosome for a man, right?
Mhm.
So when they got the DNA, they didn't have, like, it was damaged, so they didn't have enough data for the XY, so they only had the XX chromosome. And then what they did was they used another woman who was there at the project to, you know, basically birth her. So that's why she's a girl and not a boy. And then it's hilarious because, like, there was one guy there who hated Wolverine. It might have been Stryker, I'm not sure, but he was so angry that he took her middle claw out, so she only had two. And they're like, we can't do that. So they went ahead and installed it in her foot. So that way she had a super secret extra claw in her foot. So she's got two in each hand and one in each foot. So that's a good way to go with it, because, you know, not at all times, you know, it's like, well, Wolverine, I could stop him. Like, Hulk grabs each hand. Like, what are you going to do now? Well, Laura can just kick him with a foot, slice him in the face. Got to let him go. So good choice.
Yeah, that's actually, I didn't know that that's why she had the claw in her foot. I assumed it was like Dakin or Dakin, where he just has, you know, like what, 5 claws or something like that.
No, he's got 6. He's got 2 up top and 1 in the bottom.
Okay, yeah. So I assumed it was just like a mutation of the mutation, if you will. I didn't
Right.
realize that was done by someone after the fact. That's pretty cool. So I'm really curious, Alfonso, because you have the biggest internal library of fighters who you're going to choose.
Well, you know, I got to go with the classic because, you know, Wolverine is marketable. You know,
Mhm.
nothing against Laura, but Wolverine is so recognizable. It'd be like having a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man. Actually, I'm wrong there because Miles Morales kicks his butt. It would be like having a Superman movie without a Superman. See what happened with Justice League, right? But but yeah, Wolverine is a mainstay. He doesn't have to be young; he can be old. So it's like, even if he was in the movie, like, say you started with him now as like a younger character, you know, and that actor grew older, and it's like, well, different. They brought in different X-Men, because you can change out X-Men. There's so many of them, right? You don't have to have the same 6 or 7 or 5 like our list. You know, you change them out, and that same Wolverine's still there. And, you know, as he gets older, he's wiser, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to lead the team. Then it's Wolverine and the X-Men, right? So, yeah, James Hallett. I mean, Logan. There's Logan, James Hallett, James Logan Hallett. There's no way around it. You know, I have a Logan. My son's Logan, so it's like he had to be on the team right there next to Emma. You know, I don't have a tank. I could have used Sabretooth, because Sabretooth is a lot stronger than Wolverine, but I didn't want to use him. I like him too much as a bad guy. So, you know, in my movie, Sabretooth would definitely be one of the baddies, all right? Or at least one of the henchmen of the baddies. Because, you know, you got to have somebody to go claw to claw, tooth and claw with Wolverine there.
That's pretty cool, man. I can definitely dig that. So I feel like Joe is going to hit us with a great answer. Who do you got, Joe?
For me, it's Long Shot because he's a dope fighter. He has these dope daggers, and I feel like X-Men in general always gets the bad shaft and bad things happen to him, and I feel like they could use a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about Longshot is he always has luck. So the first time I fell in love with Longshot was, you know, dude was falling out of the sky and like 3 chicks with wings half naked, picked him up out of nowhere, was flying him. Hey, who are you? I'm Longshot. I thought that was pretty cool. And then you find out he had his power is luck, and so something always happens to his advantage. Which I'm kind of bummed because if they would have just did long shot like they did Domino,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like I felt like long shot got the shaft and Domino came in and was like, oh, Domino's dope, but hey, what about long shot? That's pretty much him, but whatever.
I think
Yeah.
I think the reason why they ixnayed Longshot is just the mullet, dude. They held it against him. It's no fair.
Yeah, but they could have given him a different hairdo. I mean, everyone else has different hairdos and stuff. I thought it was, the black leather suit with the yellow star, and it was dope, dude. He had
Yeah.
like a little yellow star in his eye too.
Dude, he
You
could
know,
recycle one of the old X-Men costumes.
yeah, I mean, he was dope. I thought it was dope.
No, definitely. I agree 100%. And he's a hell of a fighter.
Hmm.
Yeah. So of course, I love Longshot. I remember I spent a long time looking for the first appearance of Longshot, which was in the Longshot miniseries, and I
Hmm.
actually never got it. But yeah, I used to love Longshot. Not that I don't now, but he's one of those characters. To Joe's point, he's just kind of dropped off, which is horrible. But yeah, he's definitely a great X-Man and awesome fighter. So this next category was not this one. This one's easy, dude. Okay. With this character, you just don't get. Well, first of all, eventually everyone on the X-Men grows up. So the kid was a kid, now she's an adult, but she was a kid and she had a dragon. So you not only get Kitty Pryde phasing through walls and destroying electronics, you get a dragon with it as well. And if you're making a movie, everybody needs a dumb pet, right? There always has to be a mascot. And so having Lockheed and having Kitty Pryde, she's all, oh my gosh, and everything. I remember you picked that up from a store. Where were you at?
I was in Vegas.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Totally love that. So yeah,
$14
Kitty
at
Pryde.
Walmart.
Whoa, that's a bit
Damn.
much. That's out of my range, homie.
$14?
That's out of
14.
my range.
Cartorse?
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that, and
It's
I'm
not
not a
$80.
contortionist either. So I can't bend to that $14. So there. Yeah, dude. I like Kitty Pryde currently because she's more vicious. But if we're talking the kid form, the younger version of Kitty Pryde, I just liked how she was always so surprised by everything. She was like, wow, what's this?
Yeah.
And she played so well off of Wolverine that if you take Alfonso's version of the X-Men,
Hmm.
she's going to be an excellent foil. But otherwise, she's got that dragon. Everyone's going to fall in love with the dragon. Ooh, millions of dollars in merchandise sales. So that's my choice.
Dude, Kitty Pryde was on my list up until about like a minute before I turned on my computer because I was thinking the exact same thing. You've got Lockheed, you get a 2-for-1. All right. So you got your kid and you got another blaster that you snuck in because it's they're 2-for-1.
Ooh.
And the whole Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, miniseries where, she is trained to be a ninja.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, man, that was so good. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking like with X-Men 97, that's what they need to do is like they got to just have like a 3-episode arc before that comes out of Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. So that way she can come into the team, she could be younger fied and, hang out with the New Mutant team that's growing, with Jubilee and Sunspot and whatnot, because they're going to go that route. But yeah, Kitty Pryde, now Kate Pryde or Pirate Kitty, she's amazing. It's like you can phase through Sentinels and shut them down.
Mhm.
She could take the Juggernaut and phase him halfway through the floor and he's stuck. She's been pretty. She could take something and just insert it into your stomach or heart or chest. She's buff, dude. She really is. And once she learns a little bit of killer instinct, there's no stopping her.
Yeah.
I like her now. I don't like her before.
Dude,
She's a badass now.
She really is. One other thing about Kitty Pryde, dude, this is awesome because she can actually phase down into the earth and let the earth rotate as it does and then pop up somewhere else. So it's almost like she teleported because she could just hang out as the earth moves and boop.
That's pretty interesting. Did she ever do that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I don't know how that would work. I'm like, Earth moves really slow. she'd probably have to hang out for a period of time.
Well,
And
imagine if she went down
She's
and then she
dropping
like came
too.
back.
I think she's just dropping.
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah, she drops down and his world's turning.
Okay, well, you guys got this figured out. I'm
The
not a
lower she
science guy.
drops, the more it turns. She comes
Yeah.
back up, the more it turns.
Right.
She's
We're
gotta
still
hold her
talking.
breath.
We're still talking about teleporting. So, so Joe, take us out of this downward spiral. Who you got?
For me, I pick Random
Ooh.
because
Oh,
Random's actually a little boy that can he's a shapeshifter, so he likes mercenaries, so he shapeshift into a mercenary, but he's actually a little kid. He's kind of like Shazam in a sense of he's a little kid, but he morphs and he shapes into an adult, like an assassin.
always a good choice. I certainly hope that the first appearance of Random goes up in value because I literally have like 20 copies of the first appearance of Random. That was I was
What?
like, I was like, this is gonna be the next Deadpool.
You need to give me
Right.
one.
Yeah, Joe needs one of those.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, I did have it, but it got burned, bro.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my stuff got burned in
Yeah,
that
dude.
whole run.
I got a whole
Yeah.
box, Joe, that I'm going through for you.
Yeah,
Come play.
let's get it.
Nice. Yeah, dude. So Random is definitely awesome. First time I saw him, I was like, this dude is so cool. So he's so
Yeah.
90s though, bro, with the do rag and the
Yeah,
vest, but still, he's
he's
cool.
dope.
Yeah.
Dude, that was cool when you found out he was a kid too, and it's like a lot of this makes sense because he
Yeah.
had all that false bravado, and
Mhm.
just dude, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who'd you pick off?
Oh, mine, I'm sorry, I was saying originally that Kitty was my original pick, but I did change because the kid is Nate Gray, X-Man. All right,
Mm.
so in this day and age, he is a little bit older, but there's no reason why you couldn't have him as a kid coming over from the age of Apocalypse. Alpha level or omega level telekinetic telepath, so it's like he's got the telepathy, he's got the telekinesis, he's also got the blaster portion of it because he can just, dude, he is buff. This kid could do it alone, and that's the thing about like when you have somebody that's so powerful that like Professor X had to put a little bit of like brakes on Jean Grey because she was just too powerful. He did it in the movies, he did it in the comics, he did it in the cartoons. It's like for a while in the comics, Jean Grey didn't even know she was a telepathic because she was only using her telekinesis. And then eventually it's like, oh, well, I got telepathy too. Like something happened and it like kind of leaked out. And so then he had the trainer. So like Jean Grey, and like Cyclops, he's just so powerful, his parentals, but also he's a Nate, like my son Nate. So I had to go there.
Nice. So shout out to Nate. Congrats on that win on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice. But okay, here's my question. Is he OP?
Oh, so OP. Like
Okay.
there was a storyline where he was like the Messiah and people were following him. He had a whole cult following him after a while, and it's like he's got no shoes and he's got pants on and an open shirt, long hair, mustache, beard, and he's just like, follow me, my children. So he's a little OP. So that's why you got to put the
Okay.
kibosh on him. You gotta bring him down to the proper level. You got to teach him how to be a good person.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Dichotomy.
So for this next category, I had a lot of trouble. Because here's my thing, right? This is the one I said I had trouble with. Cyclops. Okay, that's my answer. But then I'm like, I feel like Cyclops has a bad rep with the general public, and we always see him as a leader. And if you're trying to create something that's a little bit different, then Cyclops, at least for me, for Mawa, would not be a choice I would go with. So then here's my thing. Who else are blasters? I don't know. Well, I know who Joe picked. I hope. If not, then hey, everybody, I wasted my pick because I thought Joe was going to pick this person. Man, this one's tough because as I looked at it, I'm like, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're a blaster cable, right? So this one was tough.
You could pick Havoc. You could even pick Cyclops. Eye Blaster, Havoc does like energy blast.
I do not like Havoc, bro. I do not. I've always thought Havoc was dumb. His costume is dumb. He do everything about Havoc is dumb. Like right now, as far as I know, he's dating Madeline Pryor. Why, bro? Why? Really? That's what you're doing?
Because he's living in his brother's shadow and he's got to get his leftovers.
Like, oh my gosh, I hate Havoc so much, dude. Like, I don't even know the third brother's name, but let him have something in the spotlight rather than stupid Havoc with his stupid 3 bands on his head and the big circle that comes out of his chest. What is that? Anyway, oh man, I'm triggered. So
yeah, I didn't really care too much about Havoc. I'm surprised you didn't pick Nightcrawler or any of your stuff. Man.
That should have been your fighter. I was like,
yeah, I was surprised you didn't do
I got a
Nightcrawler
note right here.
As you guys were talking, I was like, oh crap, Nightcrawler is a fighter. Like that didn't cross my mind, but then I'm like, dude, he's like a super fighter, right? So I don't really have a good answer for this one. My answer, which is a stupid answer, is Storm.
No, that's a flyer.
Omega level. Well, we cut flyer out because we only wanted to do 5. But
so she fires electricity.
Yeah.
And even Joe says it's a bad answer. Joe's like, wrong answer.
Dude, Storm is so
you can pick Bishop because I have a backup. So
too late, bro. I've gone with Storm. I'm doubling down on my answer.
Storm is the wrong one, bro.
I'm sorry, bro.
Ain't nothing wrong with Storm.
Ain't nothing wrong with Storm.
A blaster. Storm's not a blaster.
I'm gonna get that on a button.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with Storm. Now I'm put Haley Berry's picture on it.
She still looks fine too.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. That's not why I picked Haley Berry. It's because she's a fine actress. That's
Swordfish.
It's Holly Berry.
You know what? You say Holly based on your accent, your North County Oceanside accent, bro. I'm in the IE now, okay?
Both of you are wrong. It's Hallie.
It's Holly.
It's Haley.
It's Holly.
Haley is Eminem's daughter. All right.
It's
Holly is that Playmate of the Year. It's Halle Berry.
It's Holly Berry.
Who do you think that Eminem named his daughter after? Haley Berry.
Okay, audience, we need you to write in at this portion of the podcast and let us know, how do you pronounce Halle Berry?
Hey. Okay, that's my answer.
Holly.
I pronounce it Catwoman.
Oh.
Yeah. It wasn't quite as bad as I remember. So it was even worse.
She looked good at it, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a positive. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna get a pen or a t-shirt. So, Alfonso.
Yes.
Who you got as a blaster?
Okay, so my blaster is Havoc. All right, he lived long enough in Cyclops' shadow. I'm taking Cyclops out of the mix because you know what? Even though X-Men 97 proved how awesome he can be, and they did a bang up job with him, because I was like, man, Cyclops is a dope. He's been the brunt of all my memes, and now it's like, man, Cyclops is him. But with Havoc, all right, you got the dumb little costume, which is kind of a containment suit because, like Cyclops, he can't quite control everything. If he doesn't wear that suit and doesn't channel his energy properly, he kills everybody. All right, everybody. So it's like, where Cyclops just removes his glasses, Havoc can just rip open his shirt. He's like, oh, bam! And everybody goes down, right? Stop the Hulk. You can quote me on that. But Havoc, again, I think it would be a good dynamic for a leader because he's always trying to prove himself because he has to be better than his brother. And then my whole theory with Havoc is that Havoc comes in and he's like, oh, Emma Frost is single because, Cyclops went back to Jean Grey because she's alive again. And that's how it goes like that. So we've got drama. We're not saving it for your mama. We got it for the X-Men, baby.
Well, she's with Iron Man now, so where's that?
That's in reality. I'm talking X-Men movies. All right, I don't talk reality for these.
I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. is gonna get some of that Emma.
And by the way, the other Summers brother is Gabriel Summers Vulcan, and my brother's name is Gabriel. I always thought it was Alan, but then one day I figured out it was Gabriel. He's always gone by his middle name. Anyway.
Does Gabriel have powers?
Yeah, dude, he has the power to like absorb like not kinetic energy. What is it? It's like blasters. Anybody who's blasting at him, he can absorb that, take it, redirect it, make it stronger. He is super buff.
Interesting. So that's pretty much my blaster, which is
Bishop
Bishop.
Lucas
segue.
Bishop.
Basically, they have the same power.
I wonder what
And
Duke's
he-
have to say about that.
And he has like a dope gun. So not only does he have a gun, to Duke's point,
Yeah.
a nice big gun, he can also, I think X-Men 97 did him a little bit of justice, but I want more Bishop. The movies they did do. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
terrible. I mean, look what they did to that. What was that one character in X-Men First Class where he can absorb stuff?
Darwin.
And he put it inside his body and he couldn't absorb it. Like, how does that make sense? They did him dirty.
His power was to evolve past any kind of attack. And he
Yes.
that was so bunk. I'm gonna bring
Right,
that back
wasn't
on the face. It was bunk.
But he's Mr. Fantastic now. So, he's going to get a little redemption arc.
Mr. Fantastic?
And
No,
the
that's
DC.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. My bad. Mr. Terrific. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not fantastic, terrific.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah, there's a difference because DC Marvel. But yeah, that is right. He is going to be Mr. Terrific, and that's going to be sick. Let me jump on my soapbox real fast. They just had to find a way to kill a black man. So
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
he can't be killed,
Bro,
hey,
like, if you're gonna kill a black man, can you at least not give him powers that should keep him alive? Like, how does that even make sense, dude?
yeah, man. Okay,
Or
I'm
make-
off my.
Or make the bad guy's power work the way it's supposed to work and not make some kind of shaky, stretchy thing up.
Right.
Oh my god, that was not Sebastian Shaw. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
Stupid Kevin Bacon.
I still enjoyed
mean,
the movie, but
Yeah.
they had a lot of problems.
Yeah. It's one of those ones like it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. And it's okay. If you watch it, you're like, I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And just so you know, with that movie, Havoc doesn't need to do a hula hoop to shoot his powers. That's crap.
Jeez.
Even if he
And does
did
Vulcan even need anything? Like, how do the brothers have to use something so they can control their powers? But does Vulcan do the same thing?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He's unbridled. I mean, Cyclops, his thing is easily explained. When they were young and they were pushed out of the airplane with one burning parachute, he used his his optic blast to go ahead and slow the descent like he did in X-Men 97. But when he landed, he hit his head on a rock and it messed him up, right? Which was weird because when there was that Hulk Hogan era, when they were reincarnating everybody, they could have just fixed it. But for some reason, they didn't fix it. But Havoc really, I guess the really only explanation for it is that he is just so OP that they have to have this containment suit in order for him to be regulated, right? There was a while when Iceman was so OP because he was playing with frost giants up in Asgard that they had to put a special belt on him to calm him down because he was just too OP. And now he is super OP and he doesn't need no stupid belt. But yeah, it's just like a classic X-Men trope. It's like they're too strong. You got to do something to power dampen them a little bit, because that leaves potential for more later.
and it's like, oh, this is a really bad enemy. I take off my suit. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm going to willingly break it. And then now
Yeah.
I'm, nerfed for the next, year.
Yeah. There you go. That's awesome.
Well, like Kitty Pryde, she got to be so powerful. She jumped in a magic bullet that shot across the universe and she just hung out there till, because like when she's in her intangible form, she doesn't have to eat or sleep or whatever. So she just flew throughout the universe until somebody's like, oh, hey, maybe we should go get her. Like, oh, we can't get her because of this or that. It's like, no, you've got people like Lila Cheney. She's a teleportation. She teleports, but she has to go like interstellar. So she has this interstellar base somewhere far off. So it's like she wants to go from here to the next city. She has to teleport over there first and then go back. She's not like Nightcrawler where it's all line of sight.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it does actually sound pretty ridiculous.
Dude, wouldn't it be so like I think like in this day and age, shouldn't Nightcrawler be able to, if he's ever been somewhere, he should be able to teleport there?
He can, but he always runs the risk of like, what if somebody's standing right there? because he doesn't
Yeah,
know.
but like if you know where buildings are or something like
Yeah.
that, I feel like you should be able, you know what I mean? Like on top of like,
But if
you
there's a
know,
pigeon sitting there and he teleports right there, he's got pigeon feet. You know, the house he's going to sell that on OnlyFans. Not even Podemiles going to buy that.
boom, Alf
I'd
Zero
buy it.
week, fellas.
I would definitely buy that. That pigeon could like squish some bananas between its toes.
You know
I'd be
far
like-
too much about feet squishing.
I'd be like, ah.
He's like,
You
you
get a
know,
tip.
avocado is a superfood.
You get a tip for that. Squash some bananas.
Dude, we're gonna get fired.
Dude, I'm getting one of you guys canceled because I'm gonna say it was you who said all
Hey,
this stuff.
I don't think we're gonna get canceled. We're all minorities. We should be good.
Yeah, that's true. We can get away. Well, sorry, Bo. You're like the ultra minority, so
the minority of a minority of a minority.
yeah. So sorry, Bo. I'm gonna jump into the leader portion of this, and since Joe said that my first or my last answer as far as blaster go was null and void, that makes this answer null and void as well. I feel like a lot of the people that I chose are like junior members. The Cuckoos are junior. Rogue isn't a junior, but obviously Laura's a junior. X23. Also, Kitty Pryde's a junior, and I feel like they're all going to look up to Storm. And Storm has been a leader in the past. I'd want to use Mohawk Storm with powers. That would be dope. So Storm is my choice.
Wearing the Mohawk of leadership.
Mohawk of leadership. That's right.
I think you can only use Storm if you make her your flyer.
But then we'd have that as 6th category.
Yeah, that would have to be the 6 categories. And since we're at 46 minutes right now, we would have gone over. Even though there is no go over.
Yeah.
Last episode was a minute,
No.
1 hour and 9 minutes. So
never a
touche,
go over.
Dukes. Yeah. How about that?
So throw a flyer in there. Go. You got Storm. Okay. I'm gonna go Archangel because Archangel's the man. Dude, that's
Dang, that
classic
was my
90s
pick.
tropes, dude, with the
Yeah.
knives and oh man, that one thing where he was fighting Wolverine, like
Yeah.
Cameron Hodge had him each by the throat. And he's like, you guys gotta fight till you die. And they're just, oh, dude.
Yeah.
Archangel. And now, Joe, we could have the same answer on that one.
Yeah, Archangel. That's yeah, he's dope.
You gotta tell me how great Archangel is, because
Yeah, he's dope, dude. I like him. Like I did because he was like, that's what I miss about like old Marvel like that. Like no one liked Angel, bro. Nobody
So-
did, dude.
so
You were
useless.
like, so he has white wings and he flies around. Like, how is this guy dope, dude?
Like,
You
maybe
can
if we-
only catch somebody falling so long.
like maybe if we give him a bazooka, that'll
You
help.
know? Oh, here he's falling. Let me go grab him and hold him up while I save him.
And
You,
then-
you know, and then like with the whole Archangel with the 4 horsemen, I thought it was just dope, dude.
Yeah.
And he was like purple, and then he had like these metal wings that would spit out metal daggers. It was so
Feathers.
sick.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I mean, Angel, it's like, oh, well, an editor's like, hey, you know what? Well, let's go ahead and say that he has hollow bones that allows him to fly. So he's so much lighter than everybody else. Speaking of hollow bones, Longshot has hollow bones as well. Just so you know,
Mhm.
they flew him like a kite in one issue. It was great.
Awesome. So I'm curious to hear who you guys got as leaders. I'm not going to try to cancel out your leaders like other people have done to me. So Joe, who am I not going to cancel?
Psylocke.
Ooh. Ooh. So you got Bishop, you got Psylocke, you got
Mhm.
who was your other ones again?
I got Juggernaut, Longshot, Random, Bishop, Archangel.
My question is, why would you pick Psylocke over Bishop?
Bishop.
Because I think Psylocke would be more of a balanced leader
Yeah.
instead of a run in and go, destroy everything kind of leader. I think,
Makes
Okay.
sense.
and I think she could control the group that I picked more so than Bishop.
That's fair. That makes sense.
It's always good to have a psychic leader because then they can, strategize and put you in place, play the game of chess.
Mhm.
It makes a lot of sense. I would have went with Bishop with your team, but definitely Psylocke. It's a good one that I wouldn't really have thought of, but she's been here long enough. She knows what
Mhm.
she's doing. Actually, Psylocke's been running Excalibur, but it's the British Psylocke.
Yeah.
Although we all prefer the ninja Asian
Yep.
Psylocke.
For sure.
Quanin.
For sure.
I see it. I back you.
Is
got
she
my
vote.
Captain Britain now?
She is Captain Britain now.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She was supposed to be the original Captain Britain, but she turned it down because she was scared, and she was frail at that time. Like, she was just a frail little psychic, and so she had her brother do it. And then when she joined up with the X-Men, she was super scared of everything. And who was it? I mean, they beat it out of her, you know. And then next thing you know, she's Asian and kicking butt.
Wow. Yeah. I always like Psylocke, never like Betsy Braddock. So, you know.
Yeah, same here, dude. Like she'll always be just like they try to change it to the South Coast Highway, bro. It's still Hill Street.
It's Hill Street all day.
No matter
bro.
what you do, it's Hill Street, bro. You can change it. It's Hill Street.
But what
Yeah.
if you put lettuce around the hamburger?
Then it tastes even better. You can ask Haley Berry.
Holly Berry.
On Hill Street.
So, Alfonso, who is going to lead your team?
My team is going to be led by Havoc. It was really a toss-up between Havoc and Emma Frost. Emma Frost, while she is smart, tactical, and everything, I like her better as a second because she can also be very manipulating, and she can make the decisions that are going to be like not quite on the up and up. You know, she'll do what needs to be done. Whereas Havoc is kind of like a Boy Scout, kind of like his brother. You know, he's always striving to be better, trying to show that he can shine better and brighter than his brother. Havoc's got a lot to prove, and he's got a lot on his plate, and he's pretty buff, man. Some of the best Havoc moments. I mean, so, you know, you got Havoc, and again, the little love triangle, not love triangle, but he's got his little love with Emma Frost in my story. There was also a comic book miniseries called Meltdown, where Havoc and Wolverine went on a road trip. Really weird art, but I loved it so much. It was actually one of the first little story arcs that I bought right after the Wolverine trade paperback of the miniseries. And that one's kind of stuck with me for a while. You know, they went on a road trip in the middle of the Australian desert. You know, they're drinking beers, they're fighting people. It was super cool. You know, I wouldn't put X-Men as the leader because his God complex, you know, he's got to be rained down. And I think Emma Frost would be a really good person to rein him down and try to, you know, guide him in the ways of whatnot, and Wolverine smack him around when he needs to. And then Rogue, I mean, she could be a leader, but Rogue can be a little impulsive, and I'm okay with her being where she's at. You know what I mean? So Havoc is definitely going to be my leader in this situation.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
I'd have went with Emma Frost.
Yeah, me too, bro. Like at the start, you described Emma Frost. Like at the start of the episode, you're like, here's all the ways that Emma Frost is awesome, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, clearly that's going to be his leader. And then you're
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
we have a dollar store Cyclops here. We'll make him the leader.
Well, you see, everybody has their own way to shine, and Havoc doesn't really have that. By strapping him with a mantle of leadership, it gives him a way to shine. It gives him a way to step up and then to be not so obscure like he normally is. So I think it's going to be something that sometimes you got to have leadership thrust upon you, and then that's when your greatness shines.
Yeah, his leadership
yeah.
shouldn't be a participation trophy, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I could see her being a strong second. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with a strong second. Like Bishop would be my strong second.
Oh,
Like, because there's always like the leader, and then there's like the next person. You know, like if just like I felt like it was always Storm out with Cyclops.
yeah.
If something Cyclops went somewhere, Storm's there.
You know, with Bishop, I'd like a little more like, hey, you know, in the history books, it went down like this. So we want to make sure that it doesn't go that way. So let's do this. You know what I mean? He needs to be using that to his advantage a little bit more. Like,
so we're at the end of the episode, and this has been fun. I like that we, for the most part, we all had different picks. We didn't always agree on other's picks, but do we ever?
do we
Nope.
ever?
No. But that's what
Nope.
makes it fun, and that's
Yeah.
why everyone enjoys watching the show. So Alfonso X-Men Flores, because you are the X-Man and this is the X-Men, I'm going to give you the final word.
Final word is right now, X-Men is being rebooted. The Krakoan era is done. We've got a bunch of new books coming out. So time to jump on board and let's see where it takes us, man.
And so this concludes this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. So until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds redefined. Booyah!